establish the identity cosine 2 theta over 1 plus sine 2 theta is equal to cotangent theta minus 1 over cotangent theta plus 1. Okay, looking at the formula list, we see that cosine 2 theta has three forms. That's cosine square theta minus sine square theta, or 1 minus 2 sine square theta, or 2 cosine square theta minus 1. Okay, and sine 2 theta has only one form, that is 2 times sine theta times cosine theta. Okay, so on the top we're going to have one of these three, and on the bottom 1 plus this. So let me try from right hand side and get to the left side. Alternatively, I'll show you how to get right from left as well. Okay, so let's start with right hand side, and I'll try to reach to the left. So the right hand side is now cotangent theta minus 1 over cotangent theta plus 1. And by the way, cotangent is the ratio of cosine and sine. So cotangent is cosine over sine. This is original division. Now cotangent is cosine over sine minus 1. On the bottom, cosine over sine plus 1. We're going to combine these two fractions on the top and same thing on the bottom. For we need to make common denominator. Here is sine theta, so we multiply this by sine theta over sine theta. Same thing here, sine theta, so we multiply top and bottom by sine theta. Then this original division we still have here. On the top, sine theta, that's the common denominator. Cosine minus 1 sine, so we have cosine theta minus sine theta. Similarly, we have sine theta on the bottom as a common denominator, cosine plus sine, cosine plus sine. And now we've got a complex fraction, so we keep the top, change this division into multiplication, and flip the bottom. In that way, this will be cosine minus sine over sine times flip, so sine over cosine plus sine. So and sine cancel. Then we are left with what? Cosine theta minus sine theta on the top, and cosine theta plus sine theta on the bottom. But we are supposed to get, look at the left hand side, we are supposed to get cosine 2 theta on the top, and cosine 2 theta has three forms, but looks like we are gonna get this cosine squared minus sine squared. This is only cosine minus sine. If we multiply something by something, and then we might get cosine squared minus sine squared. What is that? This is a difference of two squares, so we have cosine minus sine. If we multiply top by cosine plus sine, and we have no choice, we have to keep the same thing on the bottom. Then the top is, when we multiply or FOIL, we get cosine squared theta, middle two terms cancel, minus sine minus sine square theta, which is cosine square minus sine square. That is exactly cosine 2 theta, and hope we will match the bottom. Okay, we tried for the top and it always works on the bottom if it works. So let's multiply the top and multiply the bottoms. If you multiply cosine times cosine square theta, cosine times sine plus cosine sine minus sine cosine, so middle two terms cancel, minus plus minus, sine times sine square theta. Okay, this is exactly cosine 2 theta. This is the formula. If you look at the list, formula list, cosine square minus sine square is in fact cosine 2 theta. On the bottom we have all pluses, so there are no cancellations. Let's multiply cosine times cosine square theta, cosine times sine cosine, another sine cosine, so 2 sine cosine, and sine times sine plus sine square theta. In the next step, the top is, by the way, cosine square minus sine square, that's just cosine 2 theta, all over On the bottom we have here cosine squared plus sine squared. We know the formula. Cosine squared plus sine squared is just 1 collectively. Okay, cosine squared plus sine squared is 1. That's 1 here. And 2 sine theta times cosine theta. That's exactly the formula of sine 2 theta. Okay, this way, by the way. 2 sine theta cosine theta is sine 2 theta. So that's plus, this is sine 2 theta. And if you go up and see, this is the left hand side. Okay, we could have done the exact backward and start with the left hand side and get to the right hand side. One is cosine squared plus sine squared. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cosine theta. Cosine 2 theta is cosine squared minus sine squared. And you can combine these three, like a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If you factor this, you're gonna get cosine plus sine, cosine plus sine. On the top, cosine minus sine, cosine plus sine. Then you would cancel this. Now you are here, divide top and bottom by sine, because we're gonna get cotangent, and you get this step. Then you would get the left hand side.